Hello everybody and welcome to Flamingle. So today I've come to London to visit Stephanie Silver, who is the Artistic Director of Glass Half Full Theatre Company. So I actually went to watch your fundraiser event earlier in the year. It was really good, congratulations. You were fundraising to take your play, How to Save a Life, to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in August. So my first question is, are you going to the Edinburgh Fringe?
We are!
Yay!
So excited.
You reached your target, you're going?
Yes, we reached the target. So I think crowdfunder ended yesterday, so it's like for a whole month.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've done crowdfunding once before for one other play, and before I went to Edinburgh, I find it really hard not to go without having some initial bit of cash to pay some of the deposits. So we're really grateful. We had lots of nice people who donated
their money, and now you get to take your wonderful play, How to Save a Life, to the Edinburgh Fringe. So I only actually saw an extract of it at the fundraiser, but I was already completely absorbed by the storyline. It was done in a very funny and comical way. So can you please describe to everybody a bit about How to Save a Life, your play?
So it's not based on the song. It's so How to Save a Life is about one woman, as you saw, the main character, who happens to be called Melissa, and she has a smelly vagina.
Oh dear.
She has a bad smell down there, and she can't work out why. And she goes to the doctor, and they tell her that actually some of these signs and symptoms, like stomachache and bleeding after sex, some of these things that have happened to her are actually because she's got cancer, cervical cancer. But even though it's quite tragic in some parts, the way she tells the story of her life is with humour, because I think humour and tragedy come hand in hand in life. And with theatre, I like people to think and feel, and I think people attach themselves to a human story and a human emotion and relationships. So I try to base, even though it was like about cancer, base it on the story of her. And
I didn't feel like you were forcing it in people's faces like the cancer story. It was more about her life and how she dealt with it. Like there was Spice Girls, cake, everything in it, but it was just told in obviously a very important.
I think it's more hard hitting when you then invest in the person, and like because you invest quite heavily in Toby and Maria, her best friend and her boyfriend, when actually they're there for the play and they play different other characters throughout it, but they don't have huge loads of monologues or stage time, in essence, of dialogue. So actually the fact that you invest in their characters so much is, I think, a testament to the storytelling that the actress does.
Definitely.
The main actress does,
Definitely. No, you definitely did it in quite a clever way and comical way at the same time to get across a funny story. So as we did say, so you wrote and directed How to Save a Life. So I was wondering, how did you take that first initial idea and then produce it into a full-blown theatre piece?
No, I didn't really. I was thinking I wanted to write a one-woman show, but when I started writing it, I kind of like stuck some other characters in for story, I'm rambling there.
It's okay.
Do you know what I did see at the Edinburgh Fringe last year? I saw something called Super Happy about being super sad. And it was a really good play, and I came away and it really inspired me. I was like, oh, it's really funny, has really good elements, and there were 3 characters in that play.
Oh, there's 3 in yours as well.
Yeah, and the way they told the story was the main character, and I kind of watched it and was like, I'd love to do something like that about a really important topic that uses the kind of setup and the humour and the depth. And I went away and I had a little think, and I thought, what would I write about? So I just initially wrote a monologue, and then after I wrote the monologue, I just wrote more. There was like no process.
You just had the idea, wrote a section, added on a bit more as time went on. You knew you had the idea to base it around 3 characters.
Yes, and then I did something called Catapult at the old Theatre N16, which unfortunately is not there anymore. And it was a scheme for artists, and they asked me to go on it, and they had a couple of other people, and the idea was you created a play and you showed it, and then you got feedback. So the initial piece was only like 15 minutes, so we did it, showed everyone, people gave us feedback, then we went away and then wrote 40 minutes and then showcased that. And we got really good feedback from it, and it was really positive.
It got developed, and then I guess you edit as you go along with your actors
Yeah, I'm a much better writer. Some writers can sit down and write for ages, and I can write and get a draft, and then after that I need to really work it.
Okay.
So the catapult scheme was really good for me because it meant I got to play around my actors. I got to see them do it, see what worked, redraft. And I find redrafting really helpful when I've got a strong idea of the characters and when I'm given characters by actors.
Yes, you'd rather have it, see it in front of you, and then you explore,
like,
expand, scribble it down, keep on
rip it out.
keep on going, and then eventually you get to this theatre piece and it gets to be performed to an audience, which is just
it's much more collaborative, I suppose.
Yeah, with everybody having their own input. So as we have said, you are actually injecting comedy into quite a serious matter, which is cervical cancer, in aid of your chosen charity, I believe is Joe's
Cervical Cancer
Trust. So
go follow them, they're on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook.
So that's Joe's Cervical Cancer Trust is what you're doing this in aid of, to raise awareness of cervical cancer. So is there a specific reason that you chose to base your plot and storyline around that cause?
I like to write quite strong female characters, and so I think, and I was trying to think of female issues as well, and I've had smears. I've had a lot of smears in my life, and I understand I don't want to say, you know, everyone must go out and have their smears, because I understand smears is quite a traumatic process for some people. Some people might have gone through things that make smears uncomfortable for them, but I think you can get home testing kits now. I think that's available. So I just want to say, when I'm promoting it, it's from my personal point of view, and as a medical professional myself, I'm a nurse. Screening, I think, is important, and it does increase the chances of catching stuff early. So I say, whatever medical choice you make yourself, that's great and I'm comfortable with it, but I'm choosing to support Joe's Cervical Cancer Trust because I feel it's a really important topic. It's 10 years this year since Jade Goody died. We're actually at an all-time low of cervical cancer screening in the last 10 years of history. So once you start doing your research, you're like, oh, actually this is really, really important. And your characters are so young in the play. I think it's good for people of all ages, obviously, to relate to. But the way you tell the story, it gets the message. I felt anyway, it gets the message across in not a I can't remember the word. It's not shoved down your throat. It's in a quite nice and polite kind of way. I kind of do that, like my last play, Our Big Love Story, which I did at Hope last year. It was about terrorism.
Oh, really?
And that was very funny as well, and I think it's just the way I write. I think as a nurse as well.
Yeah, you have that medical knowledge, so you know...
And that dark sense of humour.
Yeah, you know what's important and what's not, and drawing stuff on medical issues from a, obviously, medical perspective of yourself.
And not confusing people. I think there's enough in there not to over-medicalise it.
No.
And enough in there so that, like, an average person could be like, oh, understand it. And I think as a nurse, I'm always listening to doctors over-medicalise things to patients, and I'm like, oh, that's really annoying. So I think I can hopefully make the right balance so that it's a piece of theatre and entertainment, but also has a strong message under it, which is what I hope most of the plays that I produce under Glass Half Full do.
Wow, well, that's fantastic. And as we did say, How to Save a Life draws awareness to cervical cancer. And as we have mentioned, you're going to the Edinburgh Fringe in August, very excitingly. So what was the process to get to the Fringe, from having your play and then you're going?
Well, at the fun, so obviously wrote the play at the Catapult, and then after that we had to invite venues. So we sat down and looked at, me and Heather, who's an associate member of my company, we sat down and we were like, where would we like to go? And being at the Fringe before, I had quite a clear idea of what venue I wanted to be at. So we, at the fundraiser, we invited Assembly and Underbelly, and we have actually had an offer from one of them.
Very exciting. So you go somewhere else next.
Yeah, so it's just kind of, you have to put a proposal together, you fill out things. I think it's quite important when you're going to really be aware of where you want to go, why you want to go. If you think people who are going to go there are going to watch your stuff, and I've been there in 2015, and I was like, if I come back, I need to be more prepared, and I feel like this time I was just prepared. I got my show, put my pitch together, then was like, had reviews from my past shows, which fortunately were good. So kind of it's just like a building your CV, isn't it? Until someone's like, oh, actually, we'll have you. So hopefully it works out.
No, I'm sure it will. Good luck.
Or come and see the show.
So you just do your research, build up your portfolio, send it off, get selected as you have successfully have, and then
look around for money.
Get your money together, and in August you'll be there. Yes. Wow! So we have said you're actually a practicing children's nurse, which is obviously a fantastic job within itself. But taking that, how and why did you go into theatre and playwriting?
People always say that.
Do they?
Yeah. All my nurse friends are like, "Oh, are you still doing that acting thing?" I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah. So when I was in my mid-20s, like late mid-20s, I was nursing, and I just felt like I hadn't done something. I wanted to do something more, something extra, with different. You know, I've been doing nursing now for like 10 years, and for me, I need something else in my life, creative, to feel fulfilled, essentially, and to feel like I'm scratching that itch. So I was like 27 when I decided to go to drama school. Did some auditions, and I was like, someone was like, "Oh, go on, you can come." And I was like, yay. So but I think it's just, it's what I'm really passionate about writing, especially, and I'm really passionate about telling stories. And I feel like through my life I've met so many different people, I've got so many different stories, especially from being a nurse, and you think, oh, I really want to share that with people. And
I read that your first monologue or play was all about your stories as a nurse.
Yeah, was it? Nurse.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, how, like, that's quite like to put it from that perspective as well.
Yeah, write what you know, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my first piece. That was kind of a cathartic kind of hour-long rant, but done in like a story of older nurse and a younger nurse, and how they meet, and the disenfranchisement of being a nurse. Because I did get to a point where I was working in intensive care, and I think a few patients had unfortunately maybe had passed away, and sometimes you get quite sad, and I didn't really go to any counsellors or anything, and I started writing, and actually that really helped.
It was your creative
therapy.
Creative outlay of what you were feeling, and then to see it performed in front of you must have just been a...
Yeah, well, I performed in that one.
Oh, did you?
So it was kind of like really cathartic.
Yeah, but just to get it out of you and to...
Yeah, I felt like I had something really important to say. And after that, I was like, I want to do this. I want to write work and produce it. Because I see so much on the fringe, and I think especially when you're working on the fringe, you don't always get the roles you want or want to say the stories you want to say. So I think if you are on the fringe, it is actually quite accessible to make work if you can put the time and the hours in and dedication, because it takes a lot of time. Then you can tell the stories you want to tell. And I'd never done any writing before I went to drama school.
Really?
Ever. And I'd written songs or written down poems. And just when I started getting feedback that people were like, oh, they liked it, I just felt like I'd found something that I was good at. And
you always have that
nice.
interest, and then you're able to go and explore it, and then
just
unlock something.
Well, your dancers, you've got talent. Growing up, I never thought I had a talent. I was like, I'm so talentless. What's my talent?
No, you're a very talented person. Definitely.
Well, it's just finding something that you're
good at. You don't even have you don't even have to be talented at it, as long as you enjoy it, and then because you enjoy it and you're passionate about it, you put it on and perform it, and then other people are going to enjoy it. Like when I watched your play, I was like, they obviously feel so strongly about these characters and what they're saying and the message they're trying to get across, and that's your talent to be able to produce that, I think.
Hopefully.
Definitely.
Hopefully.
So
to get loads of good reviews. Not that I care about reviews.
No, but it's nice.
I need to sell my tickets.
Exactly. Sell your tickets, people come, it will be good. No, so as we did say, you have you founded Glass Half Full Theatre Company. So from, as you say, you went to drama school, had the urge for writing. So why and how did you want to set up your own company?
Well, like I just said, because I feel like I was wanting to tell my own stories, and my bug for writing, I started just writing loads and having loads of ideas, and then I was like, I want to, and I'd done a couple of fringe plays where I was like, oh, okay, they were all right, spent a lot of time for no money, and I think, do you know what, if I'm not going to be earning any money, I might as well just write my stories and work for no money.
Exactly.
So it was just kind of, the urge to tell the stories I wanted to tell. Really. Yeah, I'm quite passionate about working class stories, quite passionate about stories that attach to the human experience, and ones that get people to look at the world from a kind of rounded point of view, rather than just their point of view. Yeah, I'm like quite a liberal person, but I'm also quite understanding that it's important to understand everyone and where they come from. And I think that comes from being a nurse as well. You're always constantly being like, okay, I understand why you feel like that, and then trying to communicate. And I kind of feel like I want to communicate.
Show different people's perspectives.
Yeah,
definitely. It's a skill you obviously have within your job as a nurse. And now you're able to put that into all your different characters. Because in How to Save a Life, it does focus on one main character in particular, but also her best friend and her boyfriend. Yeah. And it tells their stories and how they react to the news and how they deal with it.
Grief is something I've had quite a lot of experience with, unfortunately. And I find it very interesting how different people deal with grief. And I've got to explore that in How to Save a Life, especially for Toby's character. He does one thing in the play which someone's like to me, oh, that was not very nice. And I'm like, well, some people don't respond to grief in a nice way. Yeah. So it's been quite interesting to deal with that, and I think the actors have found it quite interesting. Yeah.
Definitely. And by setting up your own company, as you said, you're able to tell your own stories, and you've got a team of actors that perform those stories for you, which is just fun.
I know, I've got really good actors, so I'm really lucky.
And like you say, your creative process is all inclusive, and that's the way you choose to work. So that's quite nice to be able to build up hopefully a strong team and all work together to produce something.
Yeah, and really, when I work with my actors as a director, I really like to listen to them, let them bring whatever they feel to the role, offer choices. And I think I'm not someone who will tell people what to do in a room. I want people to bring something so that we can all work together and be like, do you know what, this works better like this. If someone might say, what about this? And we're like, let's try that.
And it's just honest building, and then you get to have your piece of theatre and perform it. So as for the future, for Glass Half Full Theatre, what would be your aspirations? What are you hoping for?
I'd like to become a company that earns money.
Earns money, yes, to get paid.
I would like to get to a point where I can do more productions where I pay my actors equity. That would be great. I've done one equity production. It cost the company a lot of money, but it was a really good experience, and I felt like it was really worthwhile. That was Our Big Love Story. I'd like to get to a position where I could do that more, but at the moment it's just building up.
To get your name out there.
Yeah, and it's just kind of building up. The new writing is so hard to get people to come and watch, and that's why going to the Edinburgh is good, because people just go there. People are seeing shows every day. In London, it's very hard to get people in the door to see brand new writing by someone who they don't even know the name of.
It's just like friends of friends of friends.
Yeah, it's reaching outside of that, like, more than my mum will come and see my show. So hopefully this show will, if we go to Edinburgh, create more audiences possibly that will come and see us in London, if anyone lives in London. I think for the future, I just want to create more shows. I've got other shows that I'm thinking of doing. We're doing a small one in June.
Oh really?
So I think at the moment I try to think of one production at a time. And then I co-produce a few others on the side. So I have my main one, then I co-produce a few others. But I think at the moment I just want to focus on producing 1 to 2, definitely 2 good fringe plays a year, and then hopefully try and get a producer on board at some point who's got a bit more experience than me, to try and think about doing a tour with some of the shows I've got, because I've got a few that I would like to put tours together for.
Wow, so once you build it up, then you can
just through more experience, become a better producer. It's hard. I've kind of just become a producer out of necessity.
Yeah, your passion is writing, and therefore to get the play up, you need to also direct it, produce it, do everything around it, advertise, do all the paperwork. But no, it's no, fantastic what you're doing. At least you have like those goals. And you're still nursing as well, so you're a very, very busy person.
Yeah, no sleep. Yeah. No sleep and no coffee.
No, it's great. And it'll be so rewarding when you go to Edinburgh after all this time planning. Like I saw your extract at the start of the year, and Edinburgh's all the way in August. So
I know, we started it last August.
It's correct, like a whole year and a bit journey come full circle.
You have to start planning it.
Yeah.
As soon as Edinburgh Fringe finishes, everyone's thinking, what are we doing next year?
Next year, well, at least you're all in it together. Yeah. You and your team at Glass Half Full. Yes. So for anybody who may be watching, who may want to get into theatre or writing, or may just want to, like you are a nurse and you went out and, as you said, you wanted something creative to follow your passions with. What advice would you give them, do you think?
Oh, what advice would I give? I literally would just say preservation. I think no one in an artistic role ever does it because it's easy. It's hard, it's not very well paid, it's a bit like nursing. But so you have to have that passion and that fire to want to do it. And I think my advice is just, if you believe in something, do it, because there'll be enough people who probably tell you it's shit. But if you can honestly objectively look at your piece and think, actually I think this is really good, I believe in it enough to take it forward, then just keep doing it. And I think most people don't start out being great at anything.
No, you have to work hard to perfect your skill and make it what it is. And that's what I saw when I watched your play, and the whole evening that you put on was there was just passion throughout it. Like everybody performing just believed wholeheartedly in what they were doing. And then as an audience you're absorbed into that, that story, I think.
Good night.
It was. I enjoyed it.
There's so many talented people, and I've met so many, through doing a lot of fringe stuff, I've just met so many lovely writers, so many lovely comedians, singers, dancers, or whatever. And then when I get to do a fundraiser like that and bring everyone together, it was such a rewarding night, and you come away thinking, this is cool, I know I'm not saving someone's life, but it's,
you don't know,
you never know.
No,
and that's why How to Save a Life is called
exactly.
How to Save a Life, because it's meant to say, if you suggest your friend to have a smear test, that's how you can save a life.
I get it.
It's like, clever.
No,
because I think Heather, the main character, makes her friend Maria goes for a smear test because she does, because she's got cancer, and she's like, how to save a life. It's meant to be like, tell your best friend, your mum, whoever, go and have a smear test.
Go and get checked for whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wanted to say that. I was like, I forgot I didn't say that. Yeah.
No, but that's so cool. Wow. Yeah. Full circle, and you just went out, and as you said, you did your research, got a place at drama school, and now you're doing it, and you go on the Edinburgh Fringe, and goodness knows
it's
what's
just
going to come
momentum.
next.
Keep doing things, and make goals. I normally make goals. Write a good old list. Bloody love a list. And then I tend to think, if I've made something as a goal, I tend to do it.
Yeah, it's in your head, so you're so determined. So if you want to do anything, as Steph has done, you just be determined. Perseverance.
Like my mum says, you could die tomorrow, Stephanie. And I'm like, I can't live my life with that raw mum. And she's like, yeah, you can. And I'm like, tell my bank manager that.
Oh well, it'll be fine.
You need a mum like my mum who's like, fuck it.
Just go and do it, it'll be fine. Wow, it's fantastic. And you have just gone out and done it, and it is fine. So there we go. Well, congratulations.
Thank you, very kind.
No, thank you so much for sharing all about How to Save a Life with all of us, and all your experiences with Glass Half Full Theatre Company. So I think you've definitely embraced your inner flamingo, and now it's so fantastic that you get to share it with an audience as well. So you're not just sharing it with everybody in front of you. You produce something and you get to share it with everybody else. So of course, good luck at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in August, and you're also going to the Wandsworth Fringe.
We're doing a few previews at the Wandsworth Fringe. Wow. So it can be a little practice
run for Edinburgh. Wow, so good luck.
Practice.
with what's ever next.
Yeah.
And I'm going to link all your Glass Half Full social
amazing.
media, your social media website, everything to this video, so you can go and check that out and check out their dates for when they're next performing and all of Stephanie's plays. And of course, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed my chat with Stephanie Silver from Glass Half Full Theatre.